of things that are holding you back.
It's the full moon. It's Work It Wednesday. Not work it, but shadow work. I don't know who needs to hear this.
Smile on your face, another day. Go. They say now you're in a better place, and I will.
Area. So, hello, hey guys.
Dungeon.
My dungeon.
Your lair.
My lair. So I'm just gonna kind of talk, and then we're gonna do some questions and things like that. But if you're new in here, because I see a lot of different people from all over popping in, and Hemp, you absolutely can comment. I would just watch, you know. So we are going to do this talk show called Higher Self, and it's basically going to be a safe place for everybody to explore whatever you want to call it, cannabis use, marijuana. We're going to include that with our spirituality and mental health and physical health. And so I will have different people on, Rebel and Alex, a lot, because they're avid users and have lots of knowledge as well to share with us. Hey, Matthew, how are you? So that's kind of what this is, where this is coming from. This is our first one. We've had lots of happen so far. So we're just going to kind of go with it for now and jump in. So cannabis, if you go back in history to ancient times, it's been used forever for multiple different things. And when I started doing research and things like that, I was actually surprised at the different places that it's been found for religious practices as well as medicinal. And so it's funny to me that it's been around so long, but it's still not something that's legal everywhere. And so while we are doing this show and talking about it, we are not encouraging, we're speaking from experience and recommendations and sticking with history and knowledge. So that's kind of where we're at with that. So if you partake in the I don't know, depending on what channel we're on, is what we can say, but the devil's lettuce, and we do daily. You're welcome to jump in the chat and say things. You're welcome to come and be. That's what you have to call it on TikTok and stuff like that, or you get booted.
I know.
And so that is what we want. We want to have a safe space to have interviews and tell stories and laugh and be able to partake and still kind of explore those things. You guys have seen the show, I'm sure, called Drunk History, to where it's guys that sit around and drink and talk about history. This is going to be similar. Okay, this is going to be similar. So if you see us pop off screen, you know what we're doing. So anyway, so that is what we're doing. This is a branch off of the Blended Spirit talk show that I'm going to do that's solely on spirituality and recovering and rising stories. This is going to focus on everything that has to do with cannabis, as well as mental health, spiritual health, and stories like that. So that's where we're at. Do you guys want to introduce yourself? You want me to introduce you?
Ooh.
Tell me. It don't matter.
Okay, well, I love both these guys right here. So below is my son, Alex. And
this out. Wait.
Sorry, it's Alex Swope. Alex Swope. What?
The one and only.
Oh, the one
That's
and
all.
only Alex Swope. Okay. And then right next to him is the one and only Rebel Swope. It's Rebel. So we are going to discuss lots of different things, and I'm kind of just hosting it. Yes, that is Alex, Miss Nicole. Thank you for the drum roll. So that's kind of where we're at. Feel free to ask questions. We will try to keep up with it as much as we can. And then once these get going good, we will have these on YouTube. It'll probably be over there, but be pieced together. because we've had significant sound issues. However, I am going to ask some questions. Do you guys have anything to say before I start asking questions? Nope. You guys are like,
Mhm.
all
Go
right.
right
So
ahead.
I sent a list of questions. So I wanted to talk about misconceptions of people who use marijuana consistently, like what kind of misconception there are. I think that it's changed over the years, but a lot of time it is people who must be addicts, or they must be this, or they must be slow and they don't do anything and they're slobs and things like that. And I think that that is a very big misconception. I think it can make you melt into a couch, right? I've had this experience. But it can also alleviate so much anxiety and stress and pain. And pain has been a huge deal for me. What is some misconceptions for you, Miss Rebel?
For me, one of them is that a lot of people think that it causes mental health issues, when in turn, it actually helps us on different levels for different things. So you said something about anxiety.
Mhm.
Well, it can also help PTSD, OCD. So that's a probably the biggest one for me, is that it actually does not cause the actual issue itself.
So they're like, no wonder you have mental health issues. You smoke
Right,
marijuana. Right,
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 right.
right. Alex, what
Hmm.
is one from you?
Okay, so I think that there's always going to be a stigma with like cannabis in general because of the small amount of people that it does not make things worse. But for the vast majority, it helps most people, and it's something that most people benefit from. So it's hard to around you is like not accepting of it. So it's nice to have a community of people that is accepting
That is accepting.
around you that help. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, and that's kind of where I want this to come in, is for us to be able to openly talk about some things and have some people who may, I don't know that we'll be able to change minds, but be able to get a different face and different experience on why people do it, why it's enjoyable. Is it for spirituality? Does it help with mental health and things like that? Um, what what would you say is your top Rebel, what is your top thing that it helps you with? If you had to say the number one thing it does for me that is good, what would that be?
Oh, that would have to be giving me an appetite and allowing me to eat, not being nauseated, not feeling like I have the stomach flu because of my gastroparesis. That's probably the biggest thing that it's helped by far.
Is you to be able to eat and literally
Hmm.
stay alive.
Right, right. Because I mean, I've already went through, having a feeding tube and being malnourished and literally fighting for calories just to wake up. And, I'm at this point, that is the only thing. I've been on medication upon medication upon medication, and nothing happened. Nothing helped it except this. And finally, I got the doctor to understand, and hear me out after we've tried everything. And it's the best it's been in 3 years.
Yeah, so you're able to keep
That
things down
is
and
amazing.
eat huge meals and all that.
Yes, yes. Otherwise I'm eating like a little bird, pecking here and there, and that's it.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
I get
Nope, that
that.
is true.
I get that for sure.
Alex, what would you say is one of your number one things that you think it helps you with?
Today, like if I'm having like a pretty normal, everything helps me sleep, helps me eat, helps me with the normal stuff. Function without it is when I am manic and like when I'm freshly getting manic triggered. Like if I get into some sort of kind of stuck in the middle, I'll be just like I'll be shaking and I won't be able to really function. And
Can you
being
talk?
able to smoke it
Can you talk a little bit about your diagnosis, that with everyone that doesn't know you, on what you struggle with, and then how that helps you?
just being being bipolar with like the
Mhm.
manic side of being bipolar, it helps. I take different meds, and that helps me kind of function as far as like when I'm down. It helps me, stay above a certain level of functioning. It's really hard, and when my bipolar completely takes over and I can't function, that's when I have to be able to like at least like people that are bipolar off their meds and everything, like man, just like take like one gummy before you like make major decisions. If you're not like shit.
So you think it does it? Would you say that I had someone
So
over here in the comments say it makes them feel normal, like what someone who is normal would feel like if you were to assume that people feel normal, whatever that may be. Do you feel like that's a good?
that's definitely a comparable thing because I mean when you have a chemical imbalance, I mean I don't think it's necessarily normal for people to be sad all the time, right? Like you can't be happy all life. Like it's not a it's not a good way to be. So like if using cannabis helps you function on a day to day as far as like, then I think that I mean I think it definitely makes you seem or live a, a more steady life. Normal. It's so cold. Why is it so cold?
Why is it so cold? It's winter. It's winter. Rebel, do you have any other things that stick out for you on what it helps you with?
Yeah, I mean, I have the bipolar as well, so I can totally relate to everything he's saying, about just feeling that normalcy and being able to function. Um, I've been on every medication you can think of, psychiatric wise. You know, at one point I had found one that actually helped me the best, but then it became toxic, so they had to take me off of it. And everything literally just numbed my emotions. Like
Mhm.
I hated the zombie feeling. Like I didn't care if I was happy. I didn't care if I was sad. I didn't care if I was angry. You know what I mean? And being able to partake with, all of that with the bipolar, that has actually given me the capability of coming off of those meds and just using that as well to help with my anxiety, help with my PTSD, as well as other disorders that I have as well, physical and mental, as well as spiritual on top of it.
That was going to be my next question on it. Do you feel like within your spiritual, and I know everybody that's on here is going to be, some are spiritual, some are not, because this is just going to be a show that we have multiple different people on, but do you feel like, because in the past, right, they use marijuana all the time, like I found places to
Mhm.
where they used it in tents, they used to fill the tent with the smoke and put you in
Mhm.
there to bathe in it, so to speak. And it's been used spiritually, right? And as a decompressant since the beginning of time, since they found it. And so, do you feel like it helps you as far as spiritually, or it hinders? Because there's a big argument, I'd say, argument or disagreement within the spiritual community that talks about it affects you in a negative way, that it actually sinks you down. The energy makes you fall lower down to where you can't be as enlightened, even though it's rampant across all religious beliefs almost in the past civilizations that they used it.
Well, I'm going to say in my experience, it helps me. It allows me to kind of sink further down in and stay more focused on what my intentions are, or what I'm, if I'm asking for a message or a vision, or, depending on whatever it is. However, I also believe it's all about the intention that you go into it. So if you've had a bad day and you go into a meditation in that grumpy mood, but you're expecting to come out of it, you know what I mean? Like just happy go lucky, and you come out and then you're mad because nothing's better. You know what I mean? Like I
Or you
really,
sunk in deeper and not a good way.
right, exactly. So I really think it depends on your environment around you and the energy already there before you actually step into that extra step to see if it helps or hinders.
Sure.
Because I know my mood, if I'm just not in it, but I know I need to meditate, it's not going to be something I'm going to jump into, you know what I mean, to help me in that type of mood, because it's not
Right.
healthy that way.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Would you say that if you do it for decompression and you're not doing something spiritual at the moment, that it does make you drop in and less anxiety and less anger? But if you're trying to do something that has to do with that, it probably would be counterproductive if
Right.
you're trying to do something like that. Um, that's kind of how I feel with it, because when I do mediumship reads and different reads, I always say I got to drop in, and by that I mean I need my fruit punch. It's like,
Right.
give me
Right.
just a second to not have my anxiety and everything everywhere. I was
I
gonna
mean, in my experience, I've felt like it's opened me up further than what I would have if I didn't.
Do you think it's because it helps soften blocks that you may have
Oh,
that
absolutely. And
typically
it,
it would allow
just
you to open up?
opening those senses up even more,
Mhm.
being in that state. And I believe that's what allows me to stay more open to what's coming to me, whether it be messages or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree with that. It helps me because I have an anxious mind in general. It's a lot less anxious than it used to be. You can ask
Right.
Alex. But it is something that, one, I use it to sleep. Like I cannot sleep. I can't fall right to sleep without. Um, and it alleviates a lot of pain. But I also feel like there's that limit for me too of not being able to function. So I have to like play that role very well on it. I wanted to ask this question too, because I had someone ask or say something. People think you're a bad parent because you smoke, even if it is away from your children at all times. So I know Alex has my grandkiddos, and I know Rebel has had stepchildren and been around children. What is you all's opinion on that, and what do you think it could change the mind of those that think that?
I was gonna say
Who
my
wants to?
opinion,
Oh man.
it's like a wine a day keeps the doctor away, whatever the little saying is, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it's if you're doing it responsibly, that's the
Mhm.
big key here. If you're doing it responsibly and you're not overdoing it and neglecting the children, or, stuff like that. But if it gives you the energy to function and function
Yeah.
what you might call normally, then that, as long as you're doing what you need to do and taking that responsibility with it, I
Mhm.
see no issue with it. Because there are some people that can come home and have a glass of wine with the kids at dinner, you know what I mean? And then that's it. They're not overdoing it. They're not using it, as a getaway or whatever from the kids. But, it's,
Yeah.
I think it's all on responsibility on how you use it.
I would agree on that. Alex, what do you think on that? Because I know, and I'll just speak real quick on it, is that I come from being a parent, right, who used to be very against it because I didn't want the legal ramifications, and I had never experienced it before. Um, Growing up with Alex, I
You
say,
talked about it, yes.
yeah, him growing up with me, right? I knew it's what he did. I knew he needed it. I had not experienced it because it was not something acceptable. And now I see he's an amazing human. He has kids. He does the things he needs to do. And so for me, I come from the background of you don't do that. Like absolutely not, right? And so Alex, do you want to speak on your thoughts?
Okay, so how I was raised aside, my thoughts currently as a parent, I believe that it is acceptable within parameters, just like Rebel was saying, as far as you have to be able to take care of your responsibility until it affects the kids in any way. As far as me being a parent,
Mhm.
as far as potential custody with kids, it's like being in your car with your kids and getting a DUI because you just weren't thinking about it. That's not cool. That's not before bed and just getting like obliterated before bed
Right.
and then passing out. There, there's probably there's not very of you as a parent or make any kind of difference as long as you are not exposing the kids or having any kind of, I mean, you don't you don't mix the two, I guess. As long as you don't have any kind of intermingling, then yes, you can't
Sure.
control the environment can't if you can't manage it, if you have too much of a problem to where you're stepping whenever you're playing with them, you have to step away because you have to.
Mm.
That's when it
Just
becomes hard.
just
So
know the difference between,
case by case.
what yeah, case by case. And I would venture to say that in some circumstances, like you're going to be and meet some people and parents that are going to be like, you know what you need right now? You need an edible and you need to chill the fuck right out. Right? It's like you need that. And I would say that we've even said and joked with my husband that we need to get his mom. It's a matter of when people are so up here constantly because life is so right here that it is something that can knock you down, take you down a notch, but you can still function and you can choose how much and what you want to do. And it may or may not affect you spiritually. It may not affect you in a negative way, and it may not be good for you at all. And I know going forward, we can talk about different strains and all those different things. I have a plethora of knowledge right here in these two on that. So I definitely think that it's worth continually exploring and offering you guys a safe space to come and vent and talk and ask questions if you guys have any questions. Does anybody in the audience have any questions? Paula says, me too. Parents are retired cops, but they support it through medicinal. Yeah, I think that the medicinal part changes some of the things, because I know for me, I was like, well, I just don't want to pay your legal fees while you're under 18, right? I don't care. I don't want to pay your legal fees. That's what I don't want to do,
Too
right?
bad.
Pick good friends, don't get in trouble, turn 18, do what you want to do. Not my problem, even though it is my problem. So I think that part was me, and knowing
That's
that he struggled.
you got a second kid. You
What?
got a second try. The
Oh,
second
jeez.
kid. You got a second try.
Yeah, and he doesn't touch it. He doesn't want anything to do with it. But I do think that it can help in such a way that people don't understand. If someone is bipolar and say you can't get your medicine, or you struggle with depression, or you have these things and you can't afford the medicine, because let's be real, you can get marijuana for, I mean, sometimes it's expensive, but it's not $1,000 for a month's worth of prescription, unless, I mean, it could be, but not really. Right? Come on.
Psychiatrist
There is a
visit.
limit.
It's not a
There's
psychiatrist
a limit.
visit. It's
Yeah, and the fact that it is readily available, whereas at this point some prescriptions you can't even get right now for different things because of the way that the world is in right now. And
exactly.
what should people do, right? There's the options. They're going to lose their mind, they're going to have a panic attack, you're going to have all kinds of issues with rage and anger and all those things. Or you can literally eat an edible. Like
Right.
there's no option, right? That is your option. That's your option. So I mean, we still within our house struggle a little bit. Like my husband, he doesn't necessarily, he'll do it, but it's a secret. Shh, it's a secret. And it's just because of how he was raised, and that fear of judgment and all those things. So it's not always easy for people to come online and talk about this is what they do because of the stereotype. And that's what I want to try and get rid of, right? Is the stereotype. There's always going to be a stereotype, right? You're going to see a big fat guy in a white t-shirt with Cheeto stains eating Cheetos being high. That is what they think everyone who smokes marijuana or eats edibles has, right? That's what they think it is. And it's just not what it is anymore. There's a lot of disorders that can benefit from it if they don't think about it as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I do want to, I know Hemp, she likes her Blue Lotus. I am going to start talking a little bit more about other herbs as well that you can smoke and drink in tea and stuff like that. But you think it's a Cheech and Chong van. That's the stereotype. So I think that
Hey, there's
this
nothing
will
wrong
be just,
with that.
there ain't nothing wrong with that. So I just wanted to jump on. Obviously, we had some boo-boos with the noise and the volume, but I wanted to jump on, and then I'd like to end each one that we do if you have a funny story. Now, my funny story very well may be my son's funny story too, but I don't care. He can say whatever. But I would love to end in something funny. And if it ends up us talking 20 more minutes, that's fine. I don't care. But I would love to have some sort of a story or some sort of laughter at the end to talk about. And we will do more of these. This is just kind of like, let's see if we like it. How does it work? And all those things. So, Alex, do you have a funny story you want to share? And it does not have to be about me by any means, but you can just tell a funny story.
I mean,
It can be whatever you want.
let's see, that's what I think of something else, then you have another, or if
No, I don't
if
have
I
to
think
tell
of something
one.
else, then we. Oh, okay. Like Twitch and stuff.
Yeah, there's all kinds.
A
It's
decent amount.
no, there's like 10 people that are actually in the chat chatting. I don't know how many are actually watching, but you can tell a story if you have one. If you don't, that's okay. You'll know for next time. So okay.
Are you ready for this?
Do you have a
Are
story
you
that
ready,
you want to share?
Mama?
Am I ready? Yeah, go for it. Maybe. What are you gonna tell him?
Oh, and like us getting banned on something. Okay.
Go ahead.
So I'll tell a story about my mom. The first, she had never smoking anything besides like a joint or a pipe. So
No
I
big
go
glass
over
anything.
and I load a bowl. I mean, just a normal bowl. We'd all smoke, it's all good. Anyways, 20 minutes later, after she talking about how she can't open her eyes, and I have a video of this that I will always keep around until the day I die. So
Um,
that's the story she was
yeah,
referring
it
to.
it it does hit you differently. I will say I'm just a partner on his story. When my husband and I were separated and I lived in an apartment, he came over and he brought his big B, and he put in some Alien OG, and he was like, all right, mama, this is what you got to do. And I was like, all right, it's fine. It's fine. I'll do it. It's fine. And so I did. And I was like, I don't think I got anything. And he was like, well, try it again, but just be careful. And I was like, okay. And I was like, I don't think I got anything. I didn't realize you put ice in it so it doesn't burn, right? I don't know these things. And so then I did it again. And then 20 minutes later, when I couldn't open my eyes, I was also like, what if I forget to breathe? Alex, what if I forget to breathe? And he was like, Mom, you're not going to forget to breathe. And I was like, no, listen, I know what's going on in my mind, but my chest is numb. What if my body forgets to breathe? And he's like, Mom, you're not. And I was like, no, I can't feel it. It's cold. Like, my body's going to forget to breathe. I know it. I'm going to die. It's just, and I just can't. I do not do well whenever that anxiety kicks in. And so I steer very clear of being in controlled amounts, because I also then would shut my eyes and open them, and there was a delay on that, and I can't handle that either. So Alex was just like, Mama, look at me. It's okay. You're going to breathe. You're not going to die. And I was like, I might. I don't know what's wrong. So it was a good time. Rebel, do you have a story?
I have many stories, but we'll go with this one. So it was me and my best friend, and we're driving down the road, and there's a cemetery to our left. And of course, my great grandmother was buried in the cemetery. So I look at my friend and I'm like, hey, my grandma lives over there.
She sure do.
Right? And she was like, she lives over there? And I was like, yeah, she lives over there. And then I was like, wait a minute. Well, she's over there, but I don't know if she's living over there.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
I love it. Do you guys have any other questions or anything? We'll probably stick with a similar format, being about an hour, and we'll probably have a different topic and stuff like that, and try to end with some funny stories. And any of you guys that want to jump in and answer questions or have themes, let me know. I would love to have you guys on. But we are partaking while we're doing this, so you don't have to. All right. Rebel, do you have anything else you want to add?
Not that I know of, no.
Nope. Alex?
If y'all want to go follow me on Instagram, you can.
Who Are
Other
We
than that-
Apparel?
Yeah, I'll have you like post on yours, because there's like underscores, and it's like that's a headache.
We're gonna do a little commercial type thing for him. What?
Yeah, you could just run that one ad that I made. If anyone wants to get shirts at some point too.
Okay. He
We
does
can always
custom
make custom shirts for
anything.
Yeah,
custom shirts.
do
Rebel
custom
does
shirts for
custom car designs. Rebel.
Right here, I guess that's what you call it.
Custom
wraps.
Custom wraps. There you go. There you go. So we will do some random commercials that we'll have to support that. If any of you guys have small businesses that you want to sponsor, not as far as pay for sponsorship, but donate prizes and things like that in lieu of advertisement, let us know and we'll happily do that. But with that, we will with that we'll end. We'll have to have some saying or something like, sorry, I'm reading. Like, how's your higher self or something? I don't know. So we'll figure it out. I appreciate you guys coming in for our first one. There will be many more different talk shows. Like I said, the Blended Spirits will be on spirituality and overcoming. This one is going to be specifically geared towards cannabis, health, mental health, physical health, and spirituality. So we can kind of all blend it in and invite people over. So I appreciate you, Alex and Rebel, and we'll do it again soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, you guys have a good night.
Always. I'll be
Bye.
back.
Bye. Bye, Rebel.
I see you.
Bye.
All right, guys, that will do it. Next time, hopefully the volume will work and we will be able to do it at the correct time. But I hope that you guys enjoyed that. It was a short little blurb and what we're wanting to do. And I think it'll be good and I think it'll be fun. So there's not anything really like it that is willing to go out there and have these options. So I hope you guys have an amazing night and thank you so much for all your support always. Bye.